Today's class we are going to look at this question display on the screen. And to solve this question, solution first. Now, the first thing is this question now, if you look at this, we can simply rewrite this to be a raised to power x minus y times 1 will give us y over what? Over 2 times b raised to power 2x minus y. Everything over. This down now is the same thing as, this is the same thing as a raised to power x, then into bracket b raised to power 2x, then this is the same thing as a raised to power y into bracket 1 over 2. This root has turned to what? 1 over 2. Now, with this now, we can simply say, back to this, remember we can split this now to be a raised to power x times a raised to power minus y over 2. This is the same thing as this. Now, times b raised to power 2 times, we can rewrite this also to be b raised to power 2 minus b raised to power minus 1. Minus y rather, over this is a raised to power x. If we remove the bracket, then this is going to give us 2 times x, that's 2x. This is going to give us b raised to power 2x times this is going to give us y times 1. That will give us what? Y over 2. This is a raised to power y over 2. At this junction now, we can if you look at the numerator and the denominator, you will see that we have some number who are the same there. Like a raised to power s in the numerator, we also have it in the denominator. We can cancel this and this. Then at this point, we also have b raised to power 2x in the numerator. We also have it in the denominator too. This can cancel this. Then we'll be left with a raised to power minus y over 2 times b raised to power minus y, this and this, then over a raised to power y over 2 at the denominator. Now at this point, this is very simple. At this point we can rewrite, let's say we can rewrite this to be a raised to power minus y over 2 over a raised to power y over 2 times b raised to power minus y. If I use this to multiply this, it's still the same thing as this over this. Do you get the point? Now let's continue. At this junction now, you can rewrite this now. Remember, this inverse law of indices. Now, at this point, this will become 1. Okay, let me do it this way. At this point now, we can have this to be a raised to power minus y over 2 divided by a raised to power y over 2 times b raised to power minus 1. At this point, we can have this to be a raised to power, this minus return to 1 over then a raised to power y over 2. A raised to power y over 2. This division will turn to multiplication. Remember, we'll put over 1 to the down of this. Then at that point, we'll be having 1 over a raised to power y over 2 times this will turn to 1 over b raised to power what? Y. At this junction now, we can multiply this and this together. Then in that regard, we are going to have 1 times 1 times 1. Everything will give us what? 1. So this will become, this time a raised to power y over 2 times a raised to power y over 2 times b. That will give us a raised to power y over 2 times a raised to power y over 2 times b raised to power what? Y. At this point, we are going to have this now. This multiplication law of indices will pick 1. Then we are going to add the powers together. That's y over 2 plus y over 2 times b raised to power what? Y. At this junction, we are going to have 1 over So you find the LCM here at the index side. So we have 2 divided by 2, 1 times y, you have y. 2 divided by 2, we have 1 plus 2 divided by 2, we have 1 times y, we have what? Y times b raised to power y. At this junction now, we are going to have 1 over, then this will be a raised to power. This added together, we have 2y over 2 times b raised to power y. At this point, we are going to have 1 over, this 2 we cancel these 2. We are going to have a raised to power y times b raised to power what? Y. Now at this junction now, remember the same thing we did here. Here, look at what I did here. I splitted this to be a raised to power s, then b raised to power 2 raised to power what? X. Meaning, if I have the same power like this, I can rewrite it to be what? To be this. The same thing will be applicable to this place. Since we have the same power, it means we can rewrite it to be what? 1 over AB, then everything raised to the power of what? Y. Now, this is our final